Hey guys, today we're in Columbia, South Carolina at the Village at Sandhills.
We're going to be interviewing Karen Koop, District Manager of D130, and this is Stockroom Sessions.
Hi, my name is Karen Koop. I'm the District Team Leader for District 130, South Carolina in Region 23, Southeast Region.
First question, what made you want to be a DM?
Yeah, so that's a good question because I didn't grow up in retail necessarily wanting to be a DM. I wasn't sure what I wanted, but I knew I wanted more than just to be in charge of four walls. So I started working in stores in the visual aspect and actually had a multi-store role in the visual world. And I did that for a really long time, and I loved it because I was able to influence and train and develop others and able to see those results. But what I didn't have was my own team that I could develop and really drive results with, that I actually was the owner.
So you would say it was more individual at that point? It wasn't as much of like a team atmosphere?
Yes, exactly. I had a great team and we did a lot together, but I really wanted to be the owner. And I was really passionate about developing people to be their best and to be able to do what they wanted to do, because somebody did that for me. And I really felt in the DM role, I could be more of a generalist and really be able to drive results with my team, inspire them, motivate them, and train and develop them.
In one of Sai's videos, she says that she didn't get to where she was alone. So who was someone that had a big impact on you becoming who you are?
Yeah, so there are a few people. Personally, I would say it was my father. He worked really hard. He had a 7th grade education and worked for himself for his entire life, built a life that we had, as kids, and grew up really not wanting for much because he worked really hard and taught us how to work really hard. He was a man of integrity. I think from a work perspective, I don't know if you guys have ever read the book Strength Finders or taken the test, but in that book, Marcus Buckingham talks about your board of directors, like who's really important, who sits on that board. And people fall off of it sometimes, but people that sit on my board would be my father and a man named Blake DeVilliers. He was a mentor to me when I was in stores and taught me how to have courageous conversations, how to be more global and see the big picture. And I use what he taught me today.
So for people who want to be a DM, what's one thing about the job that we might not know?
Well, you've got to be able to deal with ambiguity. So the job is not the same every day. And as you know, things change every day, right? So as a district manager, I am the filter for my team, right? So the company brings down initiatives. We are charged to, execute the initiatives. And my job as a DM is to really filter for my team so that I can set priorities and make the job more achievable.
So what would you say is one trait you have to have, like core trait as a DM you have to be successful?
Accountability and drive for results.
Okay. Why are those two things that are so important?
Yeah, we're held accountable, right? We work for a company, and I think in Sai's book, it even talks about no third option. And what does accountability really mean, right? When we sign up to work for any company, we sign up to execute initiatives. And there's a paragraph in the book where she talks about, talking to people that aren't necessarily doing what they're supposed to do and saying, can I get your commitment? And if you're not on board, when will you get on board, right? So I think that part is, you've got to be able to have that self accountability, and you have to have a desire to compete and win, like driving for results. That's why we're here, right? We want to do a great job. We want to sell clothes, but we also want to develop people. So
We mentioned it a little bit, but what is one thing from the No Ego book that has really stuck with you?
Well, definitely the no third option, because I do believe that piece and that whole chapter just around accountability and commitment, right? I think also the example she gives in the beginning around what would great look like in this situation. So I think we all, as leaders of stores, leaders of people, just working for a company, things happen that frustrate us, or we see something or we hear something that we don't know why it's happening, and we allow ourselves to tell ourselves a story about why it's happening, and to actually step back and say, okay, stop for a second, like, what could you do differently in this situation? What would great look like in this situation? And really bringing it back to what reality is, because our ego is not our reality. And I think that resonates with me.
Is there like one phrase or mantra that you kind of keeps coming back to you like over and over and over again?
Yeah, definitely. So Don Fisher, who founded Gap Inc. Many, many years ago, his mantra was change or fail. And I think about that all the time because, as we evolve, whether it's retail or something else, I mean, our world is changing every single day. And we have to be open. We have to be able to deal with that ambiguity and figure things out in order to continue to survive and be successful, especially in retail, right? Because there's so many other places people can go. So when I see things changing, even here at American Eagle, I have to say to myself, okay, like these changes are necessary because we don't want to fail. And I try to be open to those changes.
This is the rapid fire section. So just the first thing that pops into your head, Rorschach test. So favorite movie?
Steel Magnolias.
Favorite restaurant?
Angelo's on Mulberry Street.
Astrological sign?
Cancer.
You're stuck on a desert island. You have food and water. What's one item that you take?
The Bible.
You can travel anywhere in the world for a day. Where do you go?
Italy.
What's one thing still on your bucket list?
Going to Portugal.
Who's your favorite store manager?
All of you. Everyone.
Close. I always had it. It looks like you made it just in the nick of time. Matt, what has she won?
Nothing.
We don't have a budget, so.
I won time with my team.
Maybe talk to somebody that is thinking about wanting to be a DM. What's something you would just want to say to them?
I would say if you're thinking about moving up in a company, especially this one, advocate for yourself. Be resourceful, learn things, go on to Zipline, go on to AEO Academy, learn things that you don't know, but also advocate. Let your supervisor know that this is what you want and play the role that you want to be in.
That's it.
That's great.
Yay, we did it. Thanks so much for being here today.
Hope to see you in the stockroom near you.
All right.
That's it.
Did I sound like?
No.